Hi, welcome to Prayers Radio. I'm your host, Rich Jarvis. This is my co-host, Don Waterhouse. This show is only about prayer. Ernest Holmes, which we call spiritual mind treatment in this philosophy. Got it, John.
You're Rich. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're joining us today. Boy, do we have a treat for you. We have truly an iconic figure in the history of our spiritual movement. We have with us Dr. Lloyd George Tupper. And Dr. Lloyd has been in this movement for a good while. The things that I want you to know about him right off is that he is the founding minister of the center that was founded in San Francisco and later moved to Marin County. It's called Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living now. And that was back in 1983 when all that started. And Lloyd has served in many areas of leadership in our movement. He was the founding president of Holmes Institute and also the founding president of the Science of Mind Foundation. So with those kind of credentials, we're going to have really honored to have you with us, Dr. Lloyd. Thank you so much for being here today. Would you please open us with a spiritual mind treatment?
No.
Okay. You got it, John.
That was great.
Okay, let's just take a moment of infinite privilege and participate fully in this universal expansion and expression of that which we call the life of God, of which we are one. And I, Lloyd Tupper, speak this word for every person within the sound of my voice and those who hear it without sound. Because I know, and I know that I know, I am one with that power, that intelligence, that all originating life that is mine and yours, and everything and everyone that moves, thinks, grows, expresses, or flowers on this earthly plane. So today, as we take these moments of privilege and evoke a responsiveness on the part of that infinite intelligence to come upon us, to love us, to heal us, to restore us, regenerate us, perfect us, beautify us, make us new, we open ourselves to all infinite possibilities, because as that spiritual incitement within us, that exciting feeling that we are one with that all originating power that we call God. Jesus spoke of him as the Father. The Jews called him Yahweh. Whatever it is that you call this power greater than you are, know that you're one in it, and it needs you as much as you need it. That is, if you'll pardon the pun, a marriage made in heaven that never ends. So rejoice with me, give thanks for it, and let it be so. And so it is.
So it is.
Wow, that was powerful.
Yeah.
Hey, can I call you Lloyd? I mean, you're a Reverend Doctor.
You can call me anything you like if I can make some money on
it. And so it is.
Call me Lloyd.
All right, Lloyd. Hey, we were talking in the green room. That's the pre-show room. That there are some certain books that you'd like to plug that are must-haves. What were those books?
Well, there's a myriad of books out, great books, but I have a couple that I use every day religiously. It's like when I used a rosary. Every day I was told to pray, so I used a rosary back in the day. But today, my rosary is this. This is a book by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker, our former minister and founder of the New York City Church, First Church of Religious Science. And Dr. Barker was my personal practitioner for 20 years. And he was the introduction for me when I first went to where they do the shows now in New York. I can't remember the name, but it'll come to me. Where he was waiting to open the Lincoln Center in New York because had given $58 million to build a theater. And she said, I'll give you the money, but my minister gets to be here all his life at $25 a week. So that was the opening. So anyhow, this book is written by Ernest Holmes. It's called 365 Days for Richer Living. This month's series are by Emerson, the introduction, but the writings are Ernest Holmes or Raymond Charles Barker. And I can tell you this with all sincerity. You can go around this world and every other world, but you'll never find more truth, except for naturally those that are present and are writing books. But this is the truth that you want to have. And the other thing, my standby, when I forget, which I don't do too often, but occasionally, somebody says, well, something that makes me forget something that I shouldn't forget. I pick up this book, and this book is by Frederick Bales, who was the dean of the Religious Science Institute, along with Ernest Holmes, who founded it, and of course the church. And this book is called Your Mind Can Heal You. And this is a basic book. You can see my notes. I've been at this now 59 years, but I still read it every morning. And why? Because in that 59 years, a lot has gone on. And the fact of the matter is that saying, keep it simple, is the truth. You can read this book, and because you're intelligent, and the intelligence is a good name for an infinite thinker and creator called God, you can evoke a responsiveness to all forms of intelligence, including that which is called God. And if you read this book and it tells you what to do, you follow the recipe, and a cake that you bake will last a lifetime.
I like that.
How's that?
Bale's book is Your
awesome.
Mind Can Heal You. Your Mind Can Heal You, correct?
Yes, Your Mind Can Heal You by Frederick Bales.
I don't have that one. I'm going to get that.
All right, get this. The first one I read by him, and God knows I needed it in 1967, was Hidden Power for Human Problems. And I had one or two problems in 1967, and it was the first book I ever read on this subject. I'm a former, well, I wouldn't say I'm a former. Once you're a Catholic, you're always a Catholic. But I'm also a practicing religious scientist. And this is a book that will keep you on your toes, because next year I'll celebrate 60 years that I've been in this movement, and I've never read anything better than these two books. There they are. So
for our
read them, you'll grow like you can't believe. And everything you thought was impossible will become doable. And why wouldn't it be if you are the incarnation of the one infinite life that is God, and God speaks the word? And guess who God speaks the word to? You. You've got the God in you that responds to the God in the universe, and you're one. But if you don't know how to open the door and invite it in, it'll sit on your doorstep and wilt.
Yeah.
So get those two books. And I have now that's not true. That's not true. I own half this book because Raymond Barker left this in his will to me. And the other half is owned by Science of Mind Publications. So there you go. Did you ask me about a book?
I did. And you answered it perfectly. One of the things I'm going to tell our audience that's listening via just sound is that I'll have these inside of the show notes, and they can get that at prayersradio.com. And you'll be able to find those books that he's talking about, because I know you're probably going, gosh, I want that book, if you're listening to this online right now while you're driving or something. So hey, how does prayer show up?
And they can go on Amazon, Rick. They're listed on Amazon books.
That's where the link will be for it, on the show notes and stuff, when they go to YouTube or our friends at YouTube and other public, the 19 platforms that we're on. They'll be able to access that, where to get that book. So how does prayer show up in your life besides that? I mean, you've talked about how prayers, you have the formula and make the cake and stuff, but the prayer stuff, how does prayer show up in your life? How would you explain that for somebody?
I would say that I am prayer, a walking prayer.
Nice.
I think prayer, I talk prayer, I sleep prayer, and I'm very interesting and not boring, because prayer encompasses every aspect of my beingness and every aspect of your beingness. And if you don't utilize the key to that prayer, which is your intelligent factor, just the fact that you tuned into this radio program, it denotes you're intelligent. Well, if you use that intelligent factor and say, I choose to evoke a responsiveness on the greater life that I call God, that is everywhere present and is the principle of intelligence, guess who's going to be on your doorstep instantaneously? Let me have it is the opening line. Let me have it. So when I'm in some, quandary as to what to do, or somebody calls me and says, oh, I need a healing, or somebody calls me and says, my wife is leaving, or my dog doesn't like me, or you name it, spirit can handle it. I have myself, I'm quoting a person much more popular than me, I of myself can do nothing, no thing, but that which is in me, through me, around me, about me, and as me, I cannot deny that, knows it can do anything. I live with that. I know that's the truth. And sometimes I have to get my bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuitry. And I normally do, but I have this routine. I get up in the morning, I make my coffee, I sit down in my favorite chair that has all that wonderful energy in it from prayer, and I pick up this book and I read a chapter. It takes me all of 3 minutes practically, and I'm off and running. And I just feel it won. I can't make it happen. It just happens to me. And I am a gracious receiver. If you have God, or whatever you define as God, I define God in a simple word, in infinite, 2 words, infinite intelligence. That's right, Lloyd. That's 2 words. Infinite intelligence. And what is denoted as the principle of intelligence throughout the universe, throughout the earth, throughout all calculations of every brilliant genius that ever existed? 1 word: responsiveness. You don't have to kiss spirit. You don't have to light a candle for spirit. You don't have to starve to death to spirit. You don't have to go to Lord's unless you want to. You none of that. That's all frosting on the cake. If you sit and you say to yourself, I think I need word with Papa. That's what I call God. I want intimacy with me and God. I have to invoke it. I have to say, Infinite Spirit, here I am again. I need your advice. I am open to your healing. I'm open to your guidance. use me as a vehicle, and tell me what to do. And then I shut up. I become still. And I listen. And then I, like with you today, then I open my mouth. I have no recording. I have no notes. I have no, other than my dear friend, John Waterhouse, I have no one, priming me to speak. It's the Spirit in me. And when the Spirit is good, I take the credit. And when the Spirit is not so good, I share it. But it's always good. I'm happy. I know I'm an ageless, deathless beingness of God. I was never born and I'll never die. This is a temporary pit stop. That's all. And I'm happy.
Well done, sir. Well said. So I can't believe we've gotten this far into this conversation and a certain name hasn't come up, because you are the quintessential authority on the teachings of Thomas Troward. And Judge Troward had a great influence on Ernest Holmes in the creation of the science of mind. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on anything that Troward taught that would relate to prayer that you could share with us.
Do I have some thoughts on that? I always tell the students when I was the president of the Holmes Institute, if you don't read Troward, you'll never get Ernest Holmes. Because Ernest Holmes came from a Protestant background. He had incredible gift of reading as a child and encouragement by his mother. And he was, he was an adept, just unbelievable. But Ernest Holmes said throughout many years of his beginning of lecturing and being an authority on the truth of this life and what it incorporates as God in its creation, doing the will of God for the greater glory of God and for the good of all and the harm of none. And Ernest would say, if you don't read Troward, and that was the thing he was looking for, to convince him that spiritual mind treatment works, and Troward showed him how it works and why it works. And then Ernest felt he could write the Science of Mind textbook. And it was Troward that gave him the spiritual goose. So I get goose by Troward almost every day. But that's because I'm an addict, I guess, but a good one. Yeah. No shame in me. I read Troward because sometimes I forget what I need to remember, and I read a chapter and I'm right back. I'm right there. Pure truth will do that, by the way. When people tell you to pray to God and you'll keep praying because you'll get an answer, I don't buy that. If God is the instantaneous intelligence within the universe, and the principle of the universe is responsiveness, the answer is now. And Troward told Ernest, told Lloyd. I first discovered Troward when I graduated as a practitioner in 1972. And once I got onto Troward, I thought, well, I don't need to read anything else because I was always reading these two books. And that's what I read. Troward is my constant companion. He wrote about 6 or 7 books. They're all listed. But I'd start off with what's called the Edinburgh Lectures, and then go on to some of his other books. And then he has it sounds like I'm a book salesman here. Look at this thing. Have it been read? This is called Power in You by Thomas Troward, and it's all his books in one.
Wow.
You read that and you will ascend on my guarantee. And if not, like Amazon, talk to me on the other side.
Just for our audience that's listening, he held up the book and it was all tattered and very well used, I would say.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I'm giving away all my secrets.
I'm sure our audience appreciates
it.
Yeah.
Well, you
Blessings.
can't take them with you. You might as well give them away.
There you go.
Yeah, give it away. Anytime you have the blessings that I get and we get, and they are there for you to get, give it away. So you make room for the infusion of more. There is no end to spare. And every second has something new in it. And you're the vehicle, you're the receptor, you're the Christ incarnate, as Jesus said. These works that I do, greater works than these, ye shall do. And my question is, what have you done today, Lloyd? What are you doing? Who are you inspiring to become self-reliant, Emerson? To be your own person, to know that you're the essential component of the creative process and you're infinite and you will never die. Your body will go back to the earth, but your spirit is one in God and it cannot die. And that's the truth. And if you don't believe it, tough Shinsky. Shinsky is somebody else. I won't mention his name again. Rick, what's wrong with you? You need to tighten that bag in there.
To our audience, I have this like shower curtain thing that I use that hides my background where my books are, and
God,
it's like
it was a container.
that was a laundry bag. It's like
Very big one, by the way.
a very big one.
Okay.
Do you
So what else do you want to know? I'm full of it. I love to share it.
Well, you've already talked about your day and stuff, and how you sit there and you read and you look up things and you tell the infinite spirit, which is us, how you're going to actually manifest your day, which I think is wonderful. When a challenge pops up, like you can't get on the internet or something like that, what do you do? I mean, what do you say to yourself? Do you just deny power to it? Do you do a 5-step prayer, 7-step prayer, or what do you? What's your formula?
I just say God knows. That's all. I don't mind being God's son. I don't mind not consciously knowing everything about everything and about everyone. The Spirit of God in me knows all that, and if I need it, I'll get it. And if I don't need it, I don't want to be bothered with it. I let other people like you, brilliant people like you, I don't worry about that. I want you to know I don't sit around and read all day. I get up early and I do read for 3 hours. I discipline myself. That's what I need. 3 hours. But that's all indulgence. People say, oh, I don't want to get up in the morning. I can't stand it. I don't like to read. Listen, this is addictive. This is like snorting the spirit. And I know that sounds kind of trashy, but the truth is, if you want to get high, read the truth. And when you think, well, I don't know, when is it going to work, or how is it going to work, or how often do I do it? Be seduced. Let spirit seduce you. It will never, ever do anything to harm you. And as I said, you don't have to read these things for 3 hours like I do. I mean, this is my life. This is what I do. This is what I share. This is why I don't have notes. You're probably saying maybe I should have notes, but I don't have notes. Because I know everything that there is to be known, because the mind of God is in me. Yeah. And I know that, by the way. I know that. So when I get a twitch or anything, or somebody calls me, and people do, and say, I'm ready, I'm on the bridge, and I'll say, how's the water looking? Are you planning to swim to Japan, or where are you going? I don't get all it, because there's no truth in it. There's no truth in anything that is the opposite of that nature, which is God. And if you have an item that looks like it's not a good thing, then you say, and look right at it and say, not a word of truth in you. Be gone. And take responsibility for being God's son or daughter. You're the
I remember
individualization
correctly,
of that one
Lo-
life.
Lloyd, you learned that phrase, not a word of truth in it, from your practitioner and teacher,
That is true. Raymond
Raymond
Parker.
Charles Parker. Yeah,
Not a word of truth in it. That's
I
right.
love that.
Yeah, he was my practitioner for 20 years.
That's great.
I was his last student. I met him in 1968, and he passed over in 1988 and handed me the stirrups.
That's great.
And
Very
he said,
powerful.
go for it. And remember, Lloyd, stay off the cross.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Only God knows how many students you've had over these many years. I know many, and I have heard you lecture at a Silmar where you could hear a pin drop in the room. They only wanted to hear from you. There were no side conversations. When you speak, people listen. So when you were teaching people about prayer, about spiritual mind treatment, did you have any particular nuances or ways that you taught them, things that you taught them that were really standout moments and help people really get the sense of what this is that we do?
Well, yes, because I taught Troward for 7 days in the 2 weeks of Selamar. For 2 weeks, I did teach Tupper Talks Troward. Tupper Talks Troward. And they're in the archives now, those cassettes. They were incredible. Even I like to listen to them. And that tells you, you see, I listen to my tapes and I think, oh my God, where'd that come from? How did you know that? How did you say that? Why did you say that? But I let the Spirit talk through me. I remember seeing Robert Bitzer, one of the early founders of our church movement. He was the minister almost 60 years in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. He filled his house with movie people, and he gave that talk, the last talk I heard him at a Selamar, and he said, he stood there at the mic and he says, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Wake up. Don't you know that you're the living testament of God? And God, I was sitting in the audience like you were that day. I remember you jumping up, by the way, at the end of my talk. I thought maybe you had a cocktail for breakfast or something.
No. It was all Spirit moving through me.
Oh boy, it was. Well, I was pretty jazzed too. But John, the secret to my success and to my life,
yes,
is first of all realizing I'm never going to die, and secondly, there is no hell somewhere else. It's only man-made, and it's here on earth. And I'm not going to burn in hell. I'm not worried about death. People ask me sometimes. I'm progressing age-wise as a human, but I don't worry about death. I feel that there is contained within our philosophy the truth. It's acknowledged by tens of thousands of people, but the people like Emerson doing this month in Richer Living, there's some brilliant scholarly people in here writing the things that Ernest Holmes taught so simply. And I bought it hook, line, and sinker, and I'm the result, and I'm happy with it. And after 3 hours in the morning, I go to the gym and I look at all the beautiful people and I think, these are my followers. These are the people I feed with the truth. And it's all good, I don't have to meet them. I don't have to touch them. I just have to look at them and think, Look at all these disciples of God out there doing their thing, and I'm doing my thing, and we're all going to live forever. That's it.
Go. So the prayers. I mean,
did I answer your question, John?
Beautifully. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
so how have your
When we say
prayers?
sir, John, you're not that much younger than me.
It's not about age, it's just respect.
Then pour it on.
Oh, wise one. No.
Well, the truth is his name is known all over. He was just in England, staying with friends of ours, mutual friends. Yes. He's everywhere. I know that to be true.
And so it is.
I know when you're in the dark corners of Paris. I have my friends there. They saw you.
I appreciate
doing
that.
readings, doing tea readings.
Ask him a question, Rich. Quickly.
All right. Evolving prayers. How your prayers changed over time? I know you said you came from a Catholic and stuff. So did it change a lot? Did it change a little? Did you just realize that?
Yes. I used to beseech in my prayers. That's why they were never answered. The answer for prayer is in the prayer.
Yes.
That was a quote by Ernest Holmes. And if you don't think that through, which a lot of people don't, they just go unconscious. Oh, it sounds so nice. The answer to prayer is in the prayer. If you do learn the artistry, and you'll learn it in these two books, and going to Science of Mind churches or religious science or unity or any new thought, I like to call them new thought churches, you will find out that there just simply is nothing that you can't conceive of that cannot be attained, because the mechanism of conceiving, which is the mind of God in its creation, has an immensity of possibilities. And so new ideas just come to you. If you open yourself to be an inlet and an outlet to all that God is, you are now alive and in the eternal moment of where you were never born and you can never die. And you know that, and you live that. And it's wonderful. And you still go to the store and you buy Brillo and you buy sponges for the sink and toilet paper for the great room. And you do all the things that normal people do, but you know something that most people don't know. They think about, and they can repeat like verses from Scripture, but they don't know it. Because when you know it, you act as it, and it becomes you. That's it, John. You
Beautifully
ain't gonna get any more.
Brilliant.
John, should I ask the next question?
Yeah, why don't you ask another question?
How do you explain this philosophy to somebody who doesn't know anything about it? It's sort of like your elevator speech when they ask you, what is that? What is science of mind?
Well, actually, I don't often try to explain that, because I know that the whole title, The Science of Mind, sounds so beyond the pale. It's like beyond the average person. Conceptualize that. If you tell them what, for example, the Christ said as Jesus, that greater works than these, Rick, you will do in my name, which meant Christ. And then, Rick, Christ in you is our hope and glory. Do you think that is reserved just for you? or is it for every person born in the likeness of God? Man is born in the likeness of God to express that likeness and become fulfilled as an immortal incarnation of that life that was never born and will never die. Now, when you lay that on somebody, they're probably going to, kind of close their eyes and go within, or they might wilt right down to a dandelion. I don't know. But if you tell people the truth, that's the one thing they cannot deny, because everybody is the spirit. The individualization of God in you. I see it in your eyes. I saw it when you were telling that story of digging a hole that you thought might eventually be your monument to life. It's in John. It's in me. It's in anybody that allows the Spirit to become a conscious, constant presence in every act of their life, no matter what you're doing. And if you live that way, you're not going to be thought of as weird. You're not going to be thought of as strange. You're just going to be thought of as a happy person moving through life that obviously knows something that you want to know. And I tell people, if you want to know why I am the way I am, go to a Science of Mind church, hear a lecture, not a beseechment, but a lecture, and let it awaken that truth that is resistantly pushed down in you. Yes, not resistant, that nags you resistantly. In other words, it always is saying there's something more. There's something more I want. And we think it's a car or a house or a new lover or a husband or a wife or whatever, a trip to Europe or something. But the thing that wants you most is the thing that costs you less, and it just is attainable in 2 words: be still. And then you think, oh no, I've heard that before. Let me listen again. And then it says, be still, for I am God. Within you, around you, and about you. And you, Rick, or John, or Lloyd, are my beloved.
So I have a question for you. With all the untold numbers of people that you have served as teacher, as metaphysical teacher, I'm sure that someone had the audacity to come to you and say, I did my treatment, I followed the instructions, and nothing happened. What do you say to that person?
I can't, well, first of all, I say it respectively. I can't believe that nothing happened because you're asking me and standing here before me. So something is happening. So when the student is ready, this teacher appears.
Yes.
We have to be willing, in my view, to give up. You have to surrender. You have to be willing to surrender to something. Now, in my case or your case, we know there's a presence, a power, a life, and we call it God or spirit or whatever. But if people don't know those words or don't believe those words, just surrender to life. That's all encompassing. And say to this something that is life, I want to believe, I need to believe, help me, help my unbelief, to quote a biblical saying. I believe, help me, O Lord, in my unbelief. That's what I tell them.
That's brilliant.
And also, if you get a book, a good book that addresses that person where they're at, because it'll say, are you lower than whale dung on the ocean floor? It'll use more spiritual words, but you know what they are. And you'll say, yes, she, yes. And I'm not going to say those two words, but I think your audience will relate to them. And you'll say, well, I must be in the right place at the right time because we have a common belief. This thing doesn't seem to work for me, but it works for anybody because you're it. You're it. And you can't deny it. You go through life denying it, but it doesn't do you any good. You're it.
Right. Well said,
we're at the 2-minute mark, so what we're going to do is finish up the questions. And one of the questions that comes to mind, you've already answered the other one. What's your favorite Ernest Holmes reference? Quote, if you will.
There's a power for good in this universe, and you can use it. And the reason I say that is because it took me probably 5 years to figure it out. I just couldn't figure it out. But I don't use that term anymore for people. I don't use it because it was so difficult for me to create a capacity within myself to think of a power so great and so good that I could use it. Why would I be able to use it? Why do other people seem to be able to use it? But that is a good quote from Ernest Holmes. And now, of course, it's like second nature. I do use it every time I think and open my mouth and speak. Am I speaking words of truth, or I am speaking words of man? The race consciousness, we call it. The human race consciousness. So anybody, that's such a good question. Anybody of any age, except possibly an infant, and I'm not certain infants don't already have the tablet within them, because that's where the Christ is, knows the truth. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So I say to people, if you don't feel free, then come to church and listen to the truth. And then when you get up and say, that's too good to believe, that's more than I can swallow, that's like whatever some remarks are, then just say to yourself, well, once you get hungry again, come back, get fed, go through your routine of denial, and then get hungry, fall down, get a bruised knee, and then come back. And then by that time, they're in a class. And if you want to do something great for somebody, help enroll them in a class. Because once they get in a class and they're around other people like them, and everybody's happy because they read something or heard some sharing from somebody that they accomplished something, they say, if he can do it or she can do it, I can do it. That used to be my practice. When I saw somebody like Bill Hornaday or John Waterhouse, or now you, because you're a holy man, you're the Reverend Rick, I would say, I know if he can do it, I can do it. And that was a little disrespectful, but I felt as good as you. I thought I'm as good as him. I might not act like he does, but I'm as good as him. I'm as worthy as him of being able to do what you're doing or something else that I want to do. And God is my partner. That's why Lloyd named Mr. Taylor in New York, that famous clothing store on Fifth Avenue, Lord and Taylor. He took Lloyd as his partner.
That's right.
Are you willing to do that?
Well said.
We'll see. Okay, that's good enough for me. I like
John,
you twitching your your mustache, John. John must be inspired.
I am inspired. Thank you for these incredible words of wisdom. I knew that having you on this program was going to be a delight on many levels. So thank you
You have the
so
last.
much.
It's always good to hang with you, John. You bring the best out of me. I hope it was good.
So what would you want our audience to take beyond that from what you've told us? This is the last question.
No person has gone deep enough or far enough to hide from God. The call is always there. Come unto me, and I will bring thee peace. I will bring thee rest. I will feed you. I will bring you drink. And, I make up the rest. I'm the most loved, comforted, tidied, snuggled guy in the world. Because Spirit loves me as much as Spirit loved any incarnation of itself down through the annals of all time. And if someone doesn't believe that, they can lump it, because that's the truth.
That's great.
That's my closing thought. All right, what else do you want from me this morning?
I think we got it. I think this is brilliant. People are going to get great value from watching this program, and I am so grateful to you and honored that you joined us today. Thank
John,
you, Lloyd.
Hearing that from you is meaningful.
Thank you, brother. Thank
You're
you.
awesome.
A great gift to our movement. And
Thank
I
you.
love
As are
the
you.
way you move around, John, to all the right places. Alice,
I'm doing what I can.
Yes. You're doing
right,
what
brother.
you can, and you're showing up. And that's what counts. Keep showing up.
Thank you.
And I thank you so for introducing me to Rick.
Yeah. He's a special guy.
He seems to be a special guy, but you got to get him out of that closet he lives in, that bag.
Out of that bag, huh? Okay, we'll work on it.
Okay. All right. You going to do a closing prayer, or do you
Yes,
want me
please.
to?
Would you close us with prayer?
I will. I take this opportunity to allow the presence of God in me, through me, around me, about me, to bring together Rick, John, and I in a trinity of action, that we have spoken each in our own way and put it on the airways of life, that those who hear these words, or the words that we have spoken, the laughter we have shared, and the healings that have taken place in spite of our belief that healings cannot be instantaneous. You can't tell God when God is ready to move upon the waters of your soul. And I believe that we have all drank of those waters this day, and we are all refreshed and ready to put on a new suit of that armor that is grace, and go forth and preach the truth, first to yourself, then to those who ask you, how did you become like you are? Happy, confident, healthy, prosperous, joyous, in love. You can say it simply, I follow instructions. God in me tells me to inherit its kingdom. And so I do, and so it is, and so I share it with you. Amen.
Excellent.
And so
Bless
it
you,
is.
sir. Thank you so much.
So
Yeah. And
where can
stay in touch, Rick. Invite me down to Newport to speak. I like Newport. I used to keep my boat there at the harbor, at the Newport Country Club, or whatever that thing is down there where you put your boats.
Well, I'll have you. I'll check with Reverend Jim Terrell over at OC Spiritual Center, and I'm sure he'd love to have you. I'll talk to him this week.
Okay.
John, where can they find you at?
Oh, I'm into all kind of things. I've got a podcast called Higher Reality on the Edge of Understanding, which I do with Reverend Lawrence DeRusha. I think you may remember Larry and Mary Jean DeRusha, Lloyd. He and I do
Yes,
a
I do.
podcast
I do
every week,
remember them. Yes, yes.
and we're having a lot of fun with that, looking at the convergence of science and spirituality. So that's going on. As I mentioned earlier, I've just published my third book called Spirits Awakening, which is really about my life and how I awakened to this understanding and how it's changed along the way within me. So that's a couple of ways you can do it right now.
That's
Fabulous.
a firecracker.
Well, I'm Rich Jarvis, Prayers Radio, and like, subscribe, and support us if you'd like. There's a link on the site. I will be releasing my book, The Default Prayer, which probably be the end of this year, and I'll probably have you both read it beforehand to take a look at it. Now, I just got to say thank you, and I am saying thank you because that's the wording, present, here, now. And if you don't say a prayer, you ain't got a prayer.
Amen. Amen.
Your prayer